the following honorable members were elected. Honorable Tiangco as chairperson, Honorable Chino Almario as vice chairperson, Honorable Dean Asistio, Honorable Richelle Singson, Honorable Marvy Marino, Honorable Miguel Luis Villafuerte, Honorable Fernando Cabredo, Honorable Francisco Paolo Ortega, Honorable Johnny Pimentel, Honorable J.J. Romualdo, and Honorable Emilio Bernardino Yulo as vice chairpersons. Your honors, the committee is not only made up of members representing the majority and the minority. The committee includes as ex officio members the speaker, the deputy speakers, the majority leaders, the deputy majority leaders, the minority leader and the deputy minority leaders, and the chairperson of the Committee on Accounts, to which they also have a vote and voice in the committee. During the 18th Congress, Your Honors, under the chairmanship of Representative Victor Yap, the Committee on Information and Communications Technology was able to accomplish the following, to wit: Republic Act number 11927, or the Philippine Digital Workforce Competitive Act. The law mandates the development of digital careers by promoting occupations and jobs that are enabled and supported by the Internet, Information and Communications Technology, digital technology, and tools and systems that allow a person to interact directly with companies and service and end users through remote and virtual services and systems. The committee likewise approved the following measures and was transmitted to the Senate. The following: House Bill number 9070, or the Satellite-Based Technology Act; House Bill number 8910, or the Open Access and Data Transmission Act; House Bill number 6927, or the E-Government Act; House Bill number 9608, or the No Calls, No Text, and No Email Registration Act; House Bill number 10098, or the Online Network Philippines Act, or the creation of ICT hubs; House Bill number 9057, or the Institutionalizing Rollover Data Allocation Scheme Act; House Bill number 9142, or the Transcendent Unified Government Mobile Applications Act, or the TUGMA; House Bill number 9651, Amendments to the Data Privacy Act, RA 10173, and House Bill number 9851, establishing a Zero Spectrum User Fee Act. Likewise, House Bill number 5793, or the SIM Card Registration Act, was passed on third reading and made it to the Bicameral Conference Committee. Unfortunately, Your Honors, it was vetoed by President Rodrigo Duterte because of the social media registration provision. Mr. Chair, Your Honors, the above enumerated bills were refiled this Congress. Thus, the Secretariat proposes that said measures, including the bill on e-governance, which was stated at the SONA by no less than the President himself, be the priority committee legislations for the 19th Congress. Mr. Chair, Your Honors, the committee in the 18th Congress was in receipt of a total of 158 measures, primarily referred to the committee, of national importance, out of which 118 measures were acted upon, or a total of 74.7, which is inclusive of 116 bills and 2 resolutions. During the last Congress, the committee conducted a total of 44 meetings, inclusive of 19 technical working group meetings, 8 joint meetings with the Committees on Energy, Health, and Economic Affairs as the lead committees, exclusive of 2 bicameral conference committee meetings, 1 of the proposed SIM card registration and 2 on the Philippine Digital Workforce Competitive Act. Mr. Chair, Your Honors, the following laws were passed by the committee in previous Congresses. The Republic Act number 10173, or the Data Privacy Act; Republic Act 10175, or the Cybercrime Prevention Act; Republic Act number 10515, or the Anti-Cable Television and Cable Internet Tapping Act; Republic Act 10639 of the Free Mobile Disaster Alerts Act; and Republic Act number 10844, the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or the ICT Act of 2015. Now for our internal rules.
To our members, Next on our agenda is the review and adoption of the proposed internal rules.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Congressman Revilla.
yes, would like to put on motion for the adoption and approval of the internal rules of procedure of the said committee, since everybody has been sent of the copies of the rules, Mr. Chair.
Is there any second to the motion?
Second.
Is there any objection? There hearing none, the internal rules of the ICT committee is hereby adopted. Next on our agenda is the proposed committee legislative priorities. No, I just would like to inform our members here present that today we have three very important bills for consideration. Number one is the SIM card Registration Act, which has passed, which was actually just vetoed by the president. And number two and three are two important measures which are the priority of the president: e-government and e-governance. And of course, later on, we would like to hear from the Secretary of the DICT, Secretary Ivan Uy, what is his recommendation regarding this? Are these two separate bills, or will these two bills be consolidated? Because based on the State of the Nation address, it was mentioned separately. So we want to be guided on what would be the best way to proceed. Thank you. Briefing na. Oh, yeah. Okay, we would additional members who are present. Okay, we would like to acknowledge Deputy Speaker Aurelio Don Gonzalez, Honorable Journey Jet Nisay, and Honorable Arnan C. Panaligan. Okay, may we now proceed? May we now proceed to the briefing of the DICT? Did you prepare a briefing, Secretary?
Actually, I'm prepared to answer questions. So if you have any questions on that, I thought it was the three pending bills.
So there's no briefing, but you will just reply to our queries later. Okay, thank you. How about the NTC? Do you have a presentation, or will you just reply to our queries later on?
Actually, Your Honors, we just have some points that we want to raise. First of all, thank you very much for inviting us to this meeting of this honorable committee this afternoon. First of all, we would like to raise some points because of issues on internet speed. We would be submitting, Your Honors, draft amendments to the National Building Code, because our buildings are based on the building code, our buildings are not ready for digital connectivity. There's no requirement for ports for fiber optics and for utilities such as telecommunications. Also, Your Honors, we would be submitting a draft bill on rules and regulations on subdivision lots and condominiums, where we would propose to put up utility area in the villages, because most of the villages right now, actually, all villages right now do not allow towers inside their premises. So nahihirapan po tayo. The people inside the villages complain, but the problem is it's the homeowners association who do not allow these towers. So we would be submitting those two proposed bills, Your Honors.
Yes, thank you very much, Commissioner Cordoba. Please submit it to the Secretariat and it will be distributed to all the members. Okay. How about the National Privacy Commission?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. We have a position paper that we submitted to the committee. We can read it into the record, but if this morning, Your Honor, we can.
Regarding what is your position paper?
Mr. Chair, regarding the three bills that were mentioned in the invitation.
Let's just take it up later after the sponsorship
Yes,
speech.
Mr. Chair.
Then
Thank you.
and we will ask your comments.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
How about the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center?
Your Honor, I just assumed office, so I'll just I prepared only to answer inquiries regarding the three bills earlier mentioned.
Yes, but before we proceed to the three bills, what is the exact function of the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center? Kasi meron tayong PNP Cybercrime. Meron din sa NBI na Cybercrime. So, what is the difference of the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center from the PNP Cybercrime Office and from the NBI Cybercrime Office?
The way I understand it, aside from being a coordinating center for all issues on cyber crimes, it will have also its own investigative functions. Of course, subject to clarification also with the other agencies.
Sec Ivan, can you comment on this? Because yung
Yes.
sa office niya, Cybercrime Investigation, so it also investigates.
Correct.
Right? So does that mean if someone who feels offended, can he go to the Cybercrime Investigation and the Coordinating Center?
Actually, Mr. Chair, there is an overlap of mandate somehow because the Cybercrime Investigation Coordinating Council, the charter, the law creating it, and then there's another law which is the DICT law that again enumerates several functions, and there seems to be a confusion because the organic law provides certain functions that were more on the investigative side, and there are some provisions on the DICT law that provides some kind of an enforcement function. So those two laws, I think, have to be reconciled in the CICC. What is clear is that there are two cybercrime law enforcement agencies, and that is the PNP and the NBI. The confusion is with respect to whether the CICC has law enforcement functions or purely investigative functions. So far, based on from the time that it was created until the present time, it has concentrated mostly on coordinating cybercrime incidents from the two law enforcement agencies and responding to requests for investigation. So the CICC actually has the capability to do investigative work, and from those investigative work, they now give the information to the law enforcement agencies to conduct law enforcement activities. They also coordinate with the Office of Cybercrime, which is in the Department of Justice, for the prosecutorial aspect of it. So it would appear that in the past, the cybercrime law enforcement and the cyber prosecution, they all act independently. And it would appear that the CICC is the one that now shepherds the case from to provide the investigative part, because there are technology capability challenges on the law enforcement side. So they provide those information, let's say harvesting information from the dark web, from all of those. So that's their capacity. And in addition, they also coordinate with international bodies on cybercrime investigation, most especially in areas that cover international crimes. like child exploitation and pornography and so on. So there's that overlapping somehow in some of those areas.
Okay, thank you for the clarification, Secretary Uy. Now we proceed with our
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
may I ask a couple of questions only?
sorry.
It's regarding the one is regarding the strategy of the DICT with regards to the trade industry, because I'm the chairman of the Committee on Trade and Industry. And the other one is I'm not sure if it's the National Privacy Commission, which refers to the database of all the COVID tests that we did. That means it includes a profile of all the people who had tested. Where does it end? Does it go to the hospitals, DOH? The reason why I'm asking is because I have read somewhere that all this information can be used to design perhaps a bio weapon or biochemical weapon using the profile of all, for instance, a particular Asian country. So I'm asking who's in charge of all this database and where does it go and how do we protect all of this?
Please go ahead, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you very much, Vice Chairman Marino. With respect to the trade and industry portion, our e-governance group under the DICT is working closely with DTI and with the various chambers to provide a platform for especially the MSMEs addressing their current challenges. One of the challenges that has been identified, which is significant, is that a lot of the MSMEs do not have the internal capacity nor the capital to hire web developers to do their e-commerce platform and then to do digital payments. What has been happening is because they're small, if they hire a web developer to do their e-commerce platform, they end up hiring freelancers. And then when they hire the freelancers, halfway payment, biglang nag-migrate to Dubai to work or to abroad. Then the whole thing doesn't, they've spent the money and nothing happens. Second is if they do have to hire the big ones that are more reliable, they cannot afford them because mahal mag-charge sa kanila. So what we've agreed with the DTI is we will formulate a common e-commerce marketplace that will already be designed to actually address the MSME's requirements. So all they have to do now is just register, and then they can fill in their products. They can the marketplace can handle their marketing, and we can also link them up to logistics suppliers so they can deliver or they can buy their goods and then do the e-payment system and electronic banking system there. So it's like our EBPLS. When we deployed our EBPLS, we developed a generic business permit and licensing program for local governments so that it's a common program, it's a white label, and each local government can just put their own branding or their own into it. So that's actually almost the same concept for the business sector.
That's exactly what I was looking for, Mr. Chairman. For example, a farmer, can a farmer post, for example, eggplants? I have so many eggplants, and I'll put this up in the market, and another buyer can buy it from using that platform. That's exactly what I was looking for, and I spoke with the different industries, and that's the one that's missing. It is the connection and exactly what you described. These small businesses cannot afford to hire application or programmer. So when is this going to happen, and how is it? How can you make this happen within the next maybe 3 years?
We're 2 months old po, here. So
It's okay. Just give us a time frame, maybe a year or 2 years.
actually, I'm really pushing it. But my target really is, we'd like to have it as a good Christmas gift to our MSMEs.
I'm satisfied with the answer, Mr. Chairman. I'll go with the other question.
Yes, but which Christmas? Because every year there is a Christmas. This Christmas?
It's Burr months now, no?
So are you referring, Secretary, to
Yes.
2022 Christmas?
Yes, I'm targeting. I'm targeting that. It's a goal that we'd like to achieve, and we're really pushing hard. This is not rocket science, po. It's basically, it's just like designing. So basically, it will be a Shopee, a Lazada, but run by DTI and DICT for MSMEs.
Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I will talk to the secretary regarding that.
Yes, thank you. Who do you want? You have a next question?
No, the other question was my previous question, which was all the data. And this includes not only the COVID test, but also the test that's done in hospitals, in laboratories. I know there are a lot of testing centers. Where does all the data go?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Chair. Sir, unfortunately, there is no one repository for all of that data. So for the contact tracing applications, we have the Stay Safe application. Then different LGUs also have their own contact tracing application. So the database for all of those things are not actually centralized. So each entity that's operating a contact tracing application, they're the ones that are controlling that information and also have the obligation to protect whatever information is coming into that specific system.
Then what is your role in protecting all this? I assume these are all private corporations. Even Stay Safe is private, I think. And they have all our information. So how do you protect all the information that all these different private companies have?
Yes, sir. So the ones that have the obligation to protect them are primarily the ones that are engaging with these private companies. So in the case of Stay Safe, before it was with the Department of Health, they're the ones that are ensuring that Stay Safe processes or stores information pursuant to the provisions of whatever contract there was with the DOH. What the National Privacy Commission did during the time, during the pandemic, was to provide several guidelines together with DOH on how all of these things should happen, from the storage of the information, when you can share information, what are the lawful bases that you can use to share information, and how you can ultimately dispose of it. We also emphasized to all of the people that were conducting contact tracing that they're not supposed to reuse any of these information that they get because they were collected for contact tracing purposes. They're not supposed to use it for marketing or for something else. So as a way to proactively monitor this, the National Privacy Commission has been conducting monitoring activities, going through the different LGUs that had their own contact tracing apps, establishments that have their own paper contact tracing applications.
I assume there are no penalties, Mr. Chairman, when it comes to divulging some of the data.
Sir, there are criminal penalties provided under the Data Privacy Act, ranging from 3 years to 6 years plus fine po. Because if you disclose data in an unauthorized manner, then it can carry penalties ranging from 3 to 6 years.
Mr. Chairman, how do we know that our data was used? Can you trace it? If it was used, because sometimes we get, marketing, we get so many texts. I don't know where they got the information. They even know the name, the address. So how do we trace that, somebody leaked our information?
Unfortunately, it's difficult to figure out exactly where it came from. We can figure out, for example, if specific application was breached, then we can look at what resources were actually exfiltrated, for example, from that specific application. But if I receive a message containing certain information, it's difficult to exactly pinpoint where that information came from because there are multiple sources that can contain my name, my mobile number, and all of these things. So even the ones that we are seeing now, where you have people that are receiving scam or phishing messages with their name, it's not exactly certain that it actually came from a specific leak. Some of the things that we're seeing would be consistent with the names that our people are getting are consistent with their names that are appearing on Viber, consistent with their names that are appearing on GCash. So what we're doing right now is coordinating with Viber and GCash to see if there was unusual activity that resulted in some scraping of data. Because if you are aware naman po, diba, if you enter a number on GCash and if you have GCash, you know that may lalabas na pangalan, ito yon. So the same thing with Viber. If you enter a mobile number on Viber, it will pop up that this is the person with a Viber account also, and this is their name. So we're checking with Viber and Face and GCash to see if there's unusual activity where a single account holder is calling for all of these numbers para ma-determine namin kung nanggaling sa GCash or nanggaling sa
Anyway,
sa Viber.
Mr. Chairman, I realize it's a big topic. I will just coordinate
Yes,
with
sir.
your office regarding the question about the health, the data of all the COVID tests. But I don't want to take too much of the time of the committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Congressman Marino. I would like to recognize the presence of Congressman Christopher Sonyap, one of the authors of the e-governance bill, Honorable Raul Manuel. Okay. And online, Congressman A.A. Legarda and Congressman Bingo Matugas. Now we will proceed with the bill on the SIM card registration or the SIM card registration act. Number one, we would ask the authors for their sponsorship speech. The first bill to be tackled is the bill co-authored by Speaker Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez, Representative Yedda Marie Romualdez, Representative Ferdinand Alexander Marcos, and Representative Jude Acidre. Representative Acidre, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair and esteemed members of this committee, this humble representation is cognizant of the value of democratizing mobile communication to the public. The increasing connectivity through affordable SIM cards and mobile phones has made government service delivery more efficient and possible in the far-flung areas of the country. However, we are also conscious of the fact that the accessibility of SIM cards has encouraged unscrupulous actors to take advantage and use this in the commission of criminal acts. With this in mind, the Honorable Speaker Martin Romualdez, Congresswoman Yedda Marie Romualdez, and Congressman Sandro Alexander Romualdez, and myself are pleased to introduce House Bill number 14, an act requiring the registration of subscriber identity module cards. This proposed bill shall require ownership registration of subscriber identity module or SIM cards to eradicate mobile phone-aided criminal activities. Moreover, it shall regulate the sale and distribution of SIM cards in order to promote end-user accountability, prevent the proliferation of mobile phone scams and data breaches, and assist law enforcement agencies in resolving crimes involving the use of mobile phone units within the limits imposed by existing data privacy acts and laws and regulations. It is in this spirit that I now ask my fellow members of this House to work with us in securing the immediate passage of this bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Congressman Acidre. Next to sponsor the SIM card registration act is Congressman Jaime Fresnedi. Congressman Fresnedi, you are recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I just would like to manifest, Mr. Chair, for expediency to adopt my explanatory note as my sponsorship bill. In addition, Mr. Chair, I just would like to say that this bill was already approved during the 18th Congress. Unfortunately, because of a diversion of the Senate, caused this bill to be vetoed by the President. Mr. Chair, this House Bill number 59, authored by this representation, are basically the same as those in the bill approved on the third reading by the House during the previous Congress. And Mr. Chair, the legislative proposal was first for the information by Congressman Biason during the 12th Congress. That is all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay. The explanatory note of the Honorable Congressman, please include the explanatory note of the Honorable Congressman Fresnedi in his sponsorship. Okay. We would like to recognize our Vice Chairman, Congressman J.J. Romualdez, and online is Congressman Abet Garcia. Next in line is Congressman Roy Loyola, who is online. Will he was online earlier? Is he still online? Congressman Loyola. Oh, sige. If he responds, please let me know. Okay. Next online is Congressman Edvic. Is he here or is he online? Is he online? Not anymore.
Mr.
Yes.
Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
the one who's going to sponsor the speech of our bill, Congressman Jeffrey Soriano.
Wait. Saan si Jeffrey Soriano? Congressman Soriano, did you file a bill on the SIM card registration act?
Yes, House Bill number 506.
506.
Yes.
Hindi, may 506. Hold on, ha?
Yeah.
506. Fresnedi is co-author. Yeah. Congressman Soriano, we sorry. We mislooked that you are a co-author. Please proceed, Congressman Soriano.
Yes, good afternoon to our Honorable Chairman Tiangco, my dear colleagues and all resource persons and attendees of this hearing. And I am honored to sponsor the proposed House Bill number 506, the SIM card registration, which is authored by yours truly, along with Representatives Eric Yap, Paolo Duterte, and Edvic Yap. It is worth noting that this bill has already been approved by both houses in the previous 18th Congress and is now being refiled with essentially the same intent and purpose. The clamor for protection and regulation continues to intensify as the continued rise in scam and spam text messages penetrate the general public, which is even made pronounced recently in messages that already indicate the name and other details of the SIM card user. While the Constitution guarantees that protection of the citizens' right to privacy in communication and correspondence, it is equally important and pressing as well to ensure the protection of the people's right and safety and security. While we are alarmed by these scam messages, what is the assurance that this situation cannot escalate and become far worse in the future? To reiterate, identity theft and phishing have also affected the general public, especially today that almost, if not all, transactions have become digitized. In order to mitigate and eradicate these concerns, there is an immediate need to pursue precautionary measures that will protect our people, especially the vast majority of mobile users. And this starts with SIM Card Registration Act. In view of the foregoing, immediate approval of this bill is earnestly sought. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you very much, Congressman Soriano. I would like to recognize Congressman Christine Tutor, who is online, and of course, Congressman Romulo, who is also an author of the SIM card registration. Next for the sponsorship speech is Congressman Rex Gatchalian, who I think is online.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, for expediency purposes, I'm putting in our the explanatory note as the sponsorship speech of the measure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Gatchalian. Please take note, Secretariat, to include the sponsorship speech, the explanatory note as his sponsorship speech. Next is Congressman Christian Tel Eya. Wala. Next in line for the sponsorship speech is Congressman Romulo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to shortcut the proceedings, may I move also that the explanatory note of my bill be made as a sponsorship measure. But Mr. Chair, may I also ask the committee to hasten the deliberations on another bill that I originally filed during the 15th Congress or 16th Congress. I was the only one who filed that bill, the No Text, No Calls Registry. When I was term limited on the 17th Congress, I think that was adopted by some other members up to now, but I think that is important, Mr. Chair, simply because with the problems identified earlier, obviously, even if we have a registration of the SIM cards, right now the problem is we receive messages and they name us in that messages. So obviously, we have to have the No Calls, No Text registry. We have consistently passed that in this House, but the sooner we pass it, maybe the Senate will have more time to consider it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, well noted, Congressman Romulo. First of all, please include the explanatory note as the sponsorship speech of Congressman Romulo. And Congressman Romulo, we're pleased to inform you that before this meeting, I already spoke to the Secretariat, and we scheduled the no calls, no text, no email registry, which I also filed for next Monday, subject to the availability of a room.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Because it has to go, this one has to go hand in hand with the bill you filed. So we will just wait. We hope we get a room next Monday, and it's in the agenda. That is our agenda next week, no? And aside from that, are all the resolutions asking for investigation in aid of legislation of the recent barrage of text and phishing messages. So in order to solve that, we will file that bill.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes, thank you, Congressman Romulo. Next is Congressman Henry Villafuerte, Congressman Miguel Luis Villafuerte. Are they online?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. This is Congressman Nick Enciso. I move that the explanatory note be adopted as my sponsorship speech.
Wait, Congressman Enciso, hold on. Are you speaking about the SIM Card Registration Act?
Yes, Mr. Chair. House Bill 2113.
2113. And you are a co-author of Congressman Villafuerte?
Villafuerte, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Sige. Yes, please go ahead, Congressman Enciso.
Yeah, I move that the explanatory note be adopted as my sponsorship speech, Mr. Chair.
Yes, noted. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair.
Yes. Next is Congressman Virgilio S. Lacson. Not online? Okay. Next is Congressman Keith Micah, Attorney Mike D.L. Tan.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead, Congressman Tan. Good afternoon.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, and to our partners from the DICT, I have the honor of sponsoring House Bill number 2819 entitled An Act to Eradicate Mobile Phone Aided Terrorism and Criminal Activities, mandating for this purpose ownership registration of all SIM cards for cellular phones. The bill seeks to regulate the sale and distribution of SIM cards by establishing a registry or database of validated information of its authorized owner, without which the bombardment of unwanted text messages is set to persist. It makes the registration of all SIM cards a prerequisite to their sale as a proactive response to unrelenting text scams. Once enacted to law, all existing prepaid SIM card subscribers with active services shall register with the public telecommunications entity within 1 year from the effectivity of the proposed law. Telcos will also be authorized to deactivate SIM card numbers that have not been registered within the prescribed period. The public becomes vulnerable to fraudulent transactions that place their sensitive data, such as bank accounts, passwords, profiles, among other information, at risk every second that Congress fails to act on this measure and on other similar measures. Hence, may I respectfully ask the committee's expeditious consideration on the matter. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Tan. I would like to request also the Secretariat to include my explanatory note as my sponsorship speech. Next is Congressman Rufus Rodriguez. Is Congressman Rodriguez online? Okay. Next is Congressman Jefferson Konghon. Not online? Online?
Not online, sir. And the
And the last one is Congressman Lawrence Defensor. Okay, so we have given all the sponsors their chance to deliver their sponsorship speech. What is the pleasure of the body? San Manuel? Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Dapat may mag-motion.
Sorry, may I move that?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, yes. Who is calling us online? Yes, yes, Vice. Sorry. Yes, Vice Chair Cabredo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move for the approval of this House bill.
Sir, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair. Wait, Congressman Cabredo, hold on, no? Yes, Congressman Gonzalez.
Mr. Chairman, I move to consolidate first all these proposed House bill.
Wait, Congressman Cabredo, can we tackle your motion right after the motion of the Deputy Speaker to consolidate first all of these House bills? Is it okay?
I agree, Mr. Chair.
Okay, may I just
Congressman, yes, Congressman Manuel.
Yes, I'm objecting to the motion because I
Wait,
would like.
wait, we have to go through it. I just have to recognize Congressman Gonzalez first. Congressman Gonzalez?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to reiterate that I move to consolidate all these proposed House bills of this House bill number 14 up to 1327. So move, Your Honor.
Is there any second to the motion? Is there any objection?
Yes, I object, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Can you state the reason why you object, Congressman Manuel, to the consolidation? This is just the consolidation of the House bills.
Okay. I'm objecting at this point because I would like to discuss points regarding the content of these bills and present points as to why this bill should really require thorough discussion among members of the committee.
Suspension. It's a priority, pero before that, I would like to, nasan to? Ayun. I would like to acknowledge our Vice Chairperson, Congressman Johnny T. Pimentel. Congressman Manuel, since this bill has been approved on third reading, not only by the House of Representatives, but also by the Senate, but it was just vetoed by the President for a provision with regards to social media registration. This bill is of utmost urgency. So I would like to give you the floor to raise your concerns right now.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Now, I have read the copies of the bills as well as I listened to the explanations as to why this bill is being filed again in the 19th Congress. Now, allow me to present my points as to why I am concerned if ever this bill is passed. First, let me establish na lahat naman tayo dito ay nagkakaisa na ayaw natin dun sa paggamit ng mga SIM cards and social media para sa krimen, para sa terorismo at iba pang mga illegal na aktibidad. We are one in that objective. Now, the difference would be what are our steps to address that matter. At dun sa panukala na dapat ay registered yung ating mga SIM cards, while nandyan yung magandang intensyon, nakikita natin na pwede itong magbukas ng mga unintended consequences na may epekto sa privacy na ating mga mamamayan. Halimbawa, yung ating mga mobile phones at yung ating mga SIM cards sa ngayon ay hindi na lamang siya nagagamit para sa pagtawag at para sa pagte-text kasi nagagamit na rin siya sa iba't iba pang mga aktibidad ng ating mga kababayan. Halimbawa, financial transactions, sa iba pang mga kung saan pinagagamitan yung ating mga phone numbers. Dagdag din po dyan, Mr. Chair, ay while gusto natin na paghigpitin yung control doon sa mga SIM cards, pero nag-rely din ito sa level ng cybersecurity na meron ngayon yung ating bansa. While nandyan yung ating intention na i-limit at dapat na monitor yung paggamit ng mga SIM cards, pero sa ngayon na yung ating bansa ay hindi pa ganun kalakas yung ating cybersecurity mechanisms, yung takot natin ay baka magamit pa ito nung kung sino yung may hawak na ating information para sa kanilang mga interes. Halimbawa nga may mga leak na dun sa data natin, example Comelec data at iba pa. Sunod din Mr. Chair, dun sa pagpaparegister na ating mga social media accounts na connected dun sa ating mga SIM cards, ang isang matatamaan nito ay yung ating mga transgender na kapwa Pilipino, pati yung members ng LGBTQ+ community na merong tinatawag na live name o yung pinili nilang pangalan bilang bahagi ng kanilang identity.
Based on the internal rules that we have approved, you have 3 minutes. Please wind up.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So, finally, Mr. Chair, nandyan din yung experience mula sa ibang mga bansa kagaya ng Tanzania, Kenya, tsaka Malawi na meron na ring similar na mga batas. Pero hindi din ito nag-translate dun sa successful na prevention ng krimen sa kanilang mga bansa. Kasi nakakahanap pa rin ng paraan yung ganong mga grupo para ipagpatuloy yung kanilang mga illegal activities. Kaya with that, kung tutungo man sa botohan ngayon yung bill na ito, tayo ay boboto ng no, Mr. Chair. Yun lamang, maraming salamat.
Thank you very much, Congressman Manuel. Are there any reactions?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Congressman Salcedo, sir.
Yes, Congressman Salceda is recognized.
May I therefore invoke Article 48, Section 10 of the Rules of the House for the approval of this bill? Or especially for those bills that are exactly the third reading copy of the House.
Yes, Congressman Salceda, with all due respect, we have to entertain first the motion of Congressman Gonzalez to consolidate first all the bills. Then we will go, and then there was already a previous motion of Vice Chairman Cabredo to approve, but we just have to consolidate first, Congressman Salceda. I hope that's okay with you.
Okay lang. Bakit magkakaiba ba sila?
Hindi. Para lang, so that lang we just go through the proper procedure.
Okay, may I second the motion to consolidate?
Yes, and there was an objection, so we will have to take a vote. All those in favor of the consolidation, please raise your hands.
Pwede ba ako? Member ba ako?
Member tayo.
Member ba ako? Hindi ako member. Member ba ako?
Okay.
Member ako. Okay.
All those against the motion to consolidate? So with just one objection and the majority voting for the consolidation, the consolidation of all the House bills is hereby carried.
Mr. Chair, just a brief manifestation. Since it has already been voted upon by the committee na i-consolidate yung mga bills, just would like to point out na yung isang bill kasi dito, House Bill 506, siya lang yung explicit na naglalagay ng social media registration. So that must be noted by the people in charge na magko-consolidate kung paano i-deal with yung ganitong specific section na nasa isang bill lamang. Yun lamang.
Dapat consolidate and approve it. Ngayon, consolidate lang. Bitin tayo.
Yes, yes, that is well noted, and I have realized that. But the mother bill is the bill filed by the Speaker, which does not have that provision. House Bill number 14 will be the mother bill, and that mother bill, Congressman Manuel, does not have that provision. House Bill 14 is the exact version of what was approved in the 18th Congress. Am I right, Congressman Acidre?
Correct po, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Okay. Next is Vice Chairman Cabredo. You are recognized. Vice Chairman Cabredo.
Chair.
Yes. Vice Chair Mario.
Before we go on for the pending motion, can I also put on a motion as well to include all of the members of this committee as co-authors to the measures? Unless if the authors don't want, I'd just like to push that motion forward. Thank you.
Second.
There is a motion that all members of the committee be co-authors of all members of the committees present be co-authors of the bill. Is there any second to the motion?
I second the motion.
Is there any objection?
Mr. Chair, we have to approve first before we have co-authors.
Yes, correct. Sorry. Yes, that's why I was looking for. Thank you for the. Thank you for that reminder, Congressman Salceda. Congressman Vice Chair Cabredo.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the consolidated bill, the House Bill of Speaker Romualdez as the primary bill. I move, Mr. Chairman.
There is a motion.
Mr. Chair, and the committee report as well.
Yes, there is a motion to approve the SIM card registration act as consolidated and with the committee report subject to style. Is there any second? Yes, seconded by Congressman Salceda. Is there any objection? There's an objection by Congressman Manuel. Do you want to take the floor?
Yeah. So, in line with the points that I mentioned earlier, Mr. Chair, I will continue with my position that I am voting no to the SIM Card Registration Act. And with that, I will reserve my right to submit a dissenting opinion to be attached to the committee report and raise my points in the upcoming plenary deliberations.
Yes, well noted. Thank you. Since there's an objection, all those in favor of the approval of the bill based on the mother bill, House Bill number 14 filed by Speaker Romualdez and the committee report subject to style, please kindly raise your hands. Okay, thank you. Those who object? Okay, with one objection, no objection online, no?
No. Pero sana kung pwede, para ma-record sila. The ones online.
We are requesting for the ones online to raise your hand so that we could record your vote properly. Okay. Since there's only one objection and the majority of the members voted on the consolidation approval of the consideration of this bill, the motion is carried. Congressman Almar, yes, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move that all of the members
Sorry,
of the...
Vice Chair Almario.
Yes, no problem. So I move that all of the members of this committee be added as well as co-authors to the measure currently that was just approved by this committee.
There is a motion that all members present be added as co-authors, except, of course, Congressman Manuel, who has objected to the consolidation and to the bill. Is there any second to the motion?
Second.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is carried. Next on the table are
Mr.
two
Chairman,
bills, no?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Point of order. Have we approved the committee report as well? We did? Okay.
Subject to style.
And submitted to the Committee on Rules.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Now we have two bills to be tackled. Okay, thank you. The E-Governance Act and the E-Government Act. No, I hope the authors will not object if I will have them sponsor the E-Governance Act and then sponsor the E-Government Act, and then let us discuss it afterwards, so that we have heard the sponsorship speeches of all the authors, and we will know whether we have to approve this separately or to consolidate these bills. So first is the House Bill number 3 filed by Speaker Ferdinand Martin G. Romualdez, Congressman Yedda Marie Romualdez, Congressman Ferdinand Alexander A. Marcos, and Congressman Jude Acidre. Congressman Jude Acidre is hereby recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair and esteemed members of this committee, on behalf of Speaker Martin Romualdez, Congresswoman Yedda Romualdez, Congressman Ferdinand Alexander Marcos, it is my pleasure to introduce House Bill number 3, as well as House Bill 6312 on behalf of Congresswoman Christine Singson Mihan, an act institutionalizing the transition of the government to e-governance in the digital age, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, otherwise known as the e-governance bill. This proposed measure shall establish an integrated, interconnected, and interoperable information, resource sharing, and communications network, which shall include internal records, management information system, information database, and digital portals spanning the entirety of the national and local government for the delivery of public services. This shall also mandate government offices to digitize paper-based and other traditional modes of workflow for a more efficient and transparent public service. While this bill may provide enhanced access to government information and services, it shall be with due regard to laws protecting personal privacy, national security, records retention, access for persons with disabilities, and other relevant laws. Mr. Chair, esteemed colleagues, we are not oblivious to the prevalence of internet use by our constituents and the value that it brings to their lives. It is high time that we harness this tool to serve our mandate more efficiently. With high hopes, we look forward to an improved delivery of public services, improved public administration, and improved social value through this proposed measure. It is in this spirit that I ask my fellow members of this House to work with us in securing the immediate passage of this bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Congressman Acidre. Next is Congressman Dean Asistio. Congressman Asistio, you are hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, my fellow representatives, diligent resource persons, and esteemed guests, a pleasant afternoon. It is my great honor to sponsor for you today House Bill number 1809, or an act institutionalizing the transition of the government to e-governance in the digital age, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes. Sa ating pagpasok sa digital age, ang tanging paraan upang makasabay ang ating pamahalaan ay ang pagpapatuloy ng digital transformation sa pamamagitan ng pagpapatupad ng integrated knowledge management system na lubos na gumagamit ng mga teknolohiya ngayon. Good governance is imperative in democratic country and public accountability, foundation of public trust and confidence in our government. Imperative to those this proposed bill envisions a more cohesive whole of government approach in assuring policies that will responsive to the better normal. Ito rin ay upang makapaghatid ng mas dekalidad na serbisyo sa ating mga kababayan. E-governance will indeed strengthen all government offices in instrumentalities in fulfilling their mandate by providing the public with easier and efficient access the government's transparency in order to enforce more accountability. This shall in turn be a catalyst to strengthen democracy, accelerate social economic development, and improve good governance in our beloved country. In light all of this, I earnestly seek the passage of this bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Congressman Asistio. Next is Congressman Salceda.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. With the indulgence of the committee, may I move that my remarks constitute my sponsorship for both e-government and e-governance. We have long championed digitalization as part of a broader effort to modernize the delivery of citizen services. Both bills under consideration today as presidential priorities will boost the effort to make the country's government services more efficient and responsive to changes in technology and citizens' habits and preferences. Allow me, however, to emphasize the following principles in ensuring that the government is fully prepared to digitalization. Number one, processes must be simplified. Garbage in, you don't digital garbage. Complex processes with multiple leakages, overlaps, and inefficiencies should first be rationalized before digitalization. Otherwise, one will merely migrate such inefficiencies into the digital world. Worse, because the digital space has a compounding effect, digitalization can multiply inefficiencies unless resolved at the process level first. Second, documentary requirements must be reduced. The cedula, for example, no longer serves any intelligent purposes for government. In the Ease of Paying Taxes Act, we resolve another problem by merely requiring an invoice instead of official receipts for goods for services to make VAT refunds easier, faster, and fully digital. Number 3, capacity should match demand in government processes. Manpower and technological capacity must match the demand for the service. I just came from a meeting of climate change experts recently where I learned that a total of 2 people are in charge of helping local governments, NGAs, and all other CSOs prepare proposals to access global funds. Just 2 people under the Green Climate Fund. Clearly, right-sizing means not only shaving off bureaucratic fat, but also building bureaucratic muscle where it is needed. Number 4, and this is the last, digitalization should focus on user experience. In Singapore, it takes the user just 1 office, just 1 window, just 1 day to register a small business. Even when records are forwarded to several agencies at the back, in charge of licensing, regulation, incentives, and others. It is not that the back office processes were eliminated. It is just that the burden of processing is shifted from the client to the government. He or she does not have to see what is going on behind the window. User experience must be the focus of government digitalization. Of course, this will also include digital aesthetics and design, something that government agencies still disregard to this day, but which has significant impacts on user behavior. 5th, I'm sorry, it's not the last. Government digitalization must be dynamic. What is digital and modern now may no longer be timely or relevant a year from now. As such, digitalization necessitates investments in continued learning and innovation. Government offices that seek to digitalize must be prepared to accept process innovation and sometimes disruption as part of the digital territory. And I hope that this principle be taken into account as we deliberate on these measures. And I thank the good chairman and as well as the committee. Thank you very much and good day to everyone.
Yes, thank you very much, Congressman Salceda. And we will also include your explanatory note in your sponsorship speech. Thank you very much, Congressman Salceda.
Yeah, please do. Thank you.
Yes, Congressman Michael Romero. Is Congressman Romero online?
Okay. Online.
Yes, Congressman Acidre also sponsored the bill of Congressman Singson Mihan. Is that right? Yes. Congressman Christopher Sonyap. Yes, sir.
Majong adlaw na tong tanan. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, fellow members of the Congress, resource persons, everyone here. This measures institutionalizes the digitalization of the entire Philippine government. It seeks to promote the use of the internet, intranet, and the emerging technologies within and across government agencies and provide public information and public services catered to the needs of the citizens through a unified e-governance platform to be administered by the Department of Information and Communication Technology. Also considering that the President has already abolished the office of the Cabinet Secretary, our versions vest in the office of the Presidential Management Staff the authority to direct and supervise the Citizens Concern Center created under this measure. Given the preceding consideration and sa ngalan sa Serbisyong Tinuray, approval of this bill is earnestly sought. Daghang salamat.
Yes, Congressman Yap, thank you very much. Next is Congressman Paolo Duterte. This is a co-authored bill, no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Eric Yap. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Chair. This is Jeffrey Soriano again.
Yes, Congressman Soriano, you're recognized.
Thank you. Good afternoon again to our Honorable Chairman Tiangco, my dear colleagues and all resource person and attendees of this hearing. And I'm honored to sponsor the proposed House Bill number 4115 or the E-Governance Act, which is authored by yours truly along with Representatives Eric Yap, Paolo Duterte and Edvic. It was highlighted by no other than the Honorable President, His Excellency Bongbong Marcos Jr., that there is a need for the government to evolve along with the changing times insofar as delivery of public services and digitalization are concerned. This was even highlighted during the COVID-19 pandemic as the government continually adopt various precautionary mechanisms to sustain the virus's transmission, resulting to accelerated shift in the means and platform for the delivery of public service to ensure the safety and well-being of the general public. One most important point of concern is that the government has to start adapting various transactions geared towards digitalization, which include, among others, the availability and utilization of the public of online banking, commerce, and learning, to name just a few. Therefore, this pursuit calls for a high and urgent regard in capitalizing on the country's digital infrastructure. In pursuit of expediting and easing public service delivery, increasing government transparency, and growing public participation in government decision-making, the transition of the government to e-governance must be instituted accordingly. In addition, the President has also accentuated the urgency of this proposed measure as among his legislative priorities in order to immediately incorporate such transition in the country's current government offices and agencies, including local government units and GOCCs. Hence, in view of the foregoing, immediate approval of this bill is earnestly sought. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Now we go to the E-Government Act. Congressman Villafuerte, El Rey, is he online? Congressman Virgilio Lacson. Congressman J.C. Abalos.
Good afternoon po, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Abalos, you are recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair, to save time, I would like my explanatory note for House Bill 2731 be adopted as my sponsorship speech. Thank you po, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you. Please take note that the explanatory note be adopted as the sponsorship speech of Congressman J.C. Abalos. Congressman Joey Salceda, will you add anything? No more?
No more, because at a certain point, I will move for the merger of the two bills.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We were about to ask you that one. We were about to ask you that question. Okay, Congressman Christine Singson Mihan. Kong Acidre, will you?
Mr. Chair, I move that the explanatory note of the said House bill be adopted as her sponsorship speech of the Honorable Mihan.
Yes, please take note. And Deputy Speaker Ralph Recto. Is Deputy Speaker Recto online? Not online. Okay. So can we have the comments of the first we will recognize Honorable Caroline Tanchay, who is online, and Honorable Ria Vergara. Good afternoon. Secretary Ivan Uy, because during the SONA, the President mentioned these two separately, no? He mentioned an e-governance act and he mentioned an e-government act. What is the difference of the e-governance and the e-government? And is it better to consolidate it as one bill? Could you explain to us?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Actually, because of the nomenclature, there seems to be a lot of confusion that's arising because of that. When we look at the primary output between the two bills, on the E-Government Act, the primary output is an e-government master plan. While in the E-Governance Act, it's an integrated government network. So it would seem that on the E-Government Act, the primary purpose of the bill is to come up with the organization of the organizational structure on e-government. Well, the e-governance act, it deals with the technology aspect, data sharing, data standards, interoperability, and so on. But I think given the proximity of them being involved both on e-government and e-governance, I think we could consolidate this into one bill so that there is no confusion. Because I'm sure if we have two Republic Acts, one on e-government and one on e-governance, the public themselves will also be confused by referring to those two bills. So I think a singular consolidated bill dealing with the organizational structure as well as the governance rules on the data standards, data sharing, interoperability be put together, I think would be a better approach.
Thank you, Secretary Uy. Any other? Congressman Salceda?
Yes, sir. I
Um,
think
Do you have any comments?
I totally agree with Mr. Secretary, and I think we should consolidate both bills under one single law or a measure. And in that, by way of motion, may I ask Mr. Chair that the Honorable Chair be authorized to form a technical working group in order to discuss further the various elements of both bills and how these two bills will be merged. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Yes, so there to consolidate the two bills and to authorize the chair to appoint a technical working group. Is
That's correct.
there any second to the motion?
Second.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is carried.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I move all members here be co-authors of both bills.
Congressman Revilla, we will have to wait for the result first of the technical working group. Can I appoint Vice Chairman Almario to head the technical working group?
With honors, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Congressman Benitez.
Mr. Chair, again, as part of procedure, that we bring all measures and give it to the Honorable Vice Chair, now Chair of the Technical Working Group, for his consolidation into a single House bill.
Yes.
I so move, Mr. Chair.
Is there any second to the motion of Congressman Benitez?
Second.
Is there any objection? There being none, motion is approved. Okay, there is no more. I just want to let the members know our plan, no? What is our plan? We plan really to tackle, as previously mentioned, we plan to tackle the no call, no text, no email registry next Monday, subject to the availability of a room. So we would like to request the DICT family to keep their schedules open, no? If not Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, because this is very urgent. Yes. And the NTC. Yes, Mr. Benitez.
Mr. Chair, just a clarification from the good secretary, if I may.
Yes, sure. You have the floor.
Sir, given that transition to e-governance and e-governance is actually part of the DICT's mandate already, it is my impression that the DICT already has a roadmap and a plan for that transition to occur across all government agencies. If that is true and the plan is ready or updated in the eyes of the new secretary, May we ask that the technical working group of Congressman Almario be provided with the roadmap of the DICT for e-governance and e-government to aid in the consolidation of the two measures? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Secretary Uy.
Yes, we'll do that, Congressman Benitez.
Any other matters?
Members ng PWG. Members ng PWG. Members.
Okay. Okay. The members of the TWG, of course, are the authors of the two bills, the DICT and the NTC. Did I forget anyone?
Motion of
Mr. Chair, I move to all members present to be co-authors of the two bills.
Diba, sir?
Yes, sir. I would like to manifest as to be a member of the technical working group of these two bills.
Thank you very much, Honorable Brian Revilla, for volunteering to be a member.
Mr. Chair, before we adjourn, can we ask also the Office of the President for the opinion of e-governance, the e-governance government act, no? And ask the opinion of the Office of the President or the Office of the President, considering that the President mentioned in his SONA about e-governance and e-government. So we will know really the roadmap also of the President if we can consolidate these two bills or acting into one.
Oh, very good suggestion of our Vice Chairman Romualdez.
Yes.
Wala na, we're back to zero. As is where is.
No, I think they will just ask for the out of courtesy.
Hindi ako yung boss. DOF yung.
He's not talking to us, sir.
Huh? What?
So basically, sa Monday, we will
Hindi tayo. Okay. Yes, very good suggestion, Congressman.
Yes, we always ask for the opinion of the President or Office of the President, Mr. Chair, considering that he mentioned about e-governance, then e-government. Before we consolidate all of these things. As far as I'm concerned, Mr. Chair, when during our time, the 11th and 12th Congress, 13th Congress, together with the father of Vice Chair Almario.
We will try to get, let's write a formal communication to the Office of the President and invite them to send a representative as a member of the TWG so that they are well represented in this consolidation. Is that okay, Congressman Vice Chair Romualdo?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for the suggestion.
Also, Mr. Chair, how fast are we going to do this?
I think we have to do it.
And also on the part of the Senate, how fast are we going to do this? Because, I was asking a former governor also. I was governor for 3 terms and mayor, then governor before I became congressman again. We have plenty of papers in the province. In fact, I have a new capitol. 1/4 of that new building are all papers and archives. It's really a big problem. And when you look for records, you have to dig all of these things,
And you have to keep the records for 10 years?
Ever.
10 years?
So, do we have, for the sake of discussion before we adjourn, Mr. Chair, do you have the funds for that right away, Mr. Secretary? No? That's the I'm looking into it. Once we approve. Kasi baka matapos na yung term ni President BBM, di pa rin. Di ba? Ang tagal. Di ba? So, Office of Civil Registry lang, land titles, and all of these things. And of course, the LGU. And of course, Congress. See? Kasi naalala ko po, Mr. Chair, when we adjourn or we finish our term, pinapadala sa amin yung papeles sa opisina. Sus, halos isang container van din. Hindi pa kasali yung sa commission appointments namin na papeles. Ganun. Di ba? So that's why you can fast track this, and of course the funds available in para it's a very good program. How
Mr.
fast?
Chair?
And second, Mr. Chair, Mr. Secretary, can you enlighten me? Kung nandyan na yun, napasa, mabilis na kaya by that time ang internet natin? Di ba? It's useless eh. Di ba? I hope you agree with me because I was in the local government, my God. Even up to now, sa Camiguin, in the province, grabe. Kulang talaga. Nandun na yung PLDT, but still a big problem for me in the province. Especially now, my son, the governor, is complaining. The governor now is so internet. So can you just imagine if you have this bill already passed into a law, and how fast the internet by that time, diba? That's why it's so nice talking, discussing, for example, making Singapore as the model of this internet. They're so fast. The internet are so fast, as if you're talking in front of everybody. See. So I hope we can all tackle this, and isang technical working group, and the program there after, say, 2 years from now, it will be approved, and the budget, and how fast it will be the internet by the time it comes, before the term of the president. See, maumpisahan lang. Yeah. I was discussing with Congressman Pimentel, who's also former governor. Gaano kadami ang papeles niya. Grabe rin. But anyway, that's all. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, DICT family. Mr. Chair, dagan salamat. Thank you.
Yes, Congressman Benitez.
Mr. Chair, along the same lines, if I may ask that the Anti-Red Tape Authority be allowed to be part of the technical working group.
Yes, sure.
As well, to ensure, because, sir, part of the problem of the DICT, as far as I recall, is in spite e-government being part of their mandate, they have A, neither the funds to execute it, nor B, the cooperation of the other agencies that they cannot force onto the table to undertake a digital transformation. So I think part of the intent of the act that are the measures being discussed today is that they come up with a plan that then comes into law that is also in conjunction with all the other agencies, so that the other agencies commit, and then consequently they will have to come back to Congress with an actual proposal for how much appropriations this transition may require. That's all,
Mr. Chair.
Thank you,
Mr. Chair.
Congressman Benitez. Yes.
1 minute, Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Siguro
Vice Chairman.
off the record. Siguro ang sinasabi ni off the record lang muna, may suggestion para makuha nila yung budget ng DayCity, kung makuha natin yung e-governance.
Session suspended.
Yeah, suspended
Suspended? Okay. Meeting is suspended.
Kasi, hindi po, Mr. Secretary, kunwari, nandiyan yung pera ng the national government. Talaga yun. Kasi yung local government, kaya-kaya.
Meeting is resumed. Yes, Congressman Benitez.
Sorry, I would also like to, for the record, formally apply to be a member of the team.
Yes, of course. Our
Thank
pleasure.
you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. So we have Congressman Benitez as member and the ARTA. Okay, Congressman Virgilio.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, DICT submitted the e-government master plan for 2022 nung 2019. How far are we on this, sir? Has this been implemented?
Thank you, sir. Well, good afternoon. Well, with regards to the question, actually right now we are consolidating all the frameworks that the previous DICT team has started, sir. In my case, I am just 1 month old in the job, and I will be supervising the Policy Planning Standards and Metrics Bureau. So it's a mouthful. We have a lot of framework, and I agree with the points earlier of our dear members of the House of Representatives. We need to have the policy first so that the ICT can really help all the departments. Kasi ang nangyayari ngayon, parang every department kanya-kanya, and the digitalization budget, hati-hati din. It's not all with us. There's a big digitalization budget for the whole country, but only a small portion of that is for the DICT. So we feel that we cannot implement the framework. So directly to your answer, we will get back to you about the e-governance report, but I'm happy to say that there's a separate undersecretary that's also very active in the area of e-governance. We will discuss that with him. At the same time, we also have a national government LGU ICT readiness survey. So all the results of this survey, we will be sure to provide this committee para you will know how all the national government are faring in terms of digital readiness. Para malaman po natin, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you. In regards with cybersecurity, I know, for example, pag may mga accounts kami na nahahack, and I know this is a common thing right now, does the ICT have the funds for this?
Actually, in the past we had intel funds that could be used to conduct the cyber investigation and checking, addressing these concerns. But that has already been removed, so we do not have funds to address that for now.
Sir,
Yes,
may I add to the...
You have...
Yes, Mr. Chair. May I just add to the answer of the Secretary? Sa other side, no, currently the DICT is also deliberately deploying a lot of cybersecurity skills training. So our target are really government employees. We have certifications. We're about to partner with a global consortium where we will be training government employees and giving them cybersecurity certifications. These are the professional level cybersecurity certifications. So I'd like to ask the House of Representatives to be among the beneficiaries of our cybersecurity training certifications. I think in the area of talent, dun kami makakatulong as of now.
Thank you. I would like to manifest my support for DICT. If you need additional budget, I'm more than happy to support your DICT. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you, Congressman Revilla.
Mr. Chair? I would just like to ask also DICT, since you guys have a plan, as I've seen different areas in the country, there are also different capabilities when it comes to integrating and using technologies that we have, especially emerging technologies. I would just like to ask if the master plan that you have is a one go or one step implementation, or do we have multi-phase implementations to help ease also those who are unfamiliar with the technologies and emerging technologies to be able to best use them as how we intend them to use it?
Thank you, Your Honor. That's a very, very timely question because in the DICT, we're only not all about technology, but also skilling and human development. So two lenses, Your Honor. You have the digital skilling and industry development because knowing these technologies will also lead to high-paying jobs. So over the last 3 years and until now, with the support of the Secretary, we have already identified about 6 to 7 emerging technologies, blockchain, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, data analytics, even the basic cloud computing, we have to go back. And I think the other one is we included also the gig economy. Although it is not really a complex set of skills when you are a digital freelancer, but if you notice during the pandemic, this is the industry that carried us. More than 247% increase. Nagsara po yung lahat ng companies because of the pandemic, but we have our digital or online freelancers carrying the economy for us. So under the watch of Secretary Ivan, we also want to capture the gig economy. And of course, recently, our secretary has also had conversations on the area of the metaverse. Kasi we also need to prepare. So what we do is we have training sessions on social media and on virtual because of the pandemic. But when the economy is now fully open, we'll bring all these trainings down to the countryside. Sa inyo pong mga districts where you want us to deploy these trainings.
Thank you, ma'am. I would just like to add, the reason why I asked this question in particular is because I remember reading a study from before. I just don't recall which exactly it is. But it states that in the whole world, the Philippines is 5 years behind in the global standard of technology. And it's concerning. That's why I asked if there was a multi-phase integration to help ease. Kasi 5 years is a huge gap. No, and not everybody here, to be very frank, can understand blockchain the way that some of us do. It is still something very unknown as well to the general public. So siguro we can probably include that as well. Siguro if ever it's amenable to the to the ICT and to all of our family members as well here, that maybe we can also try to look for maybe for special cases for very rural areas that they may also be able to at least pick up the kind of technologies that we wish them to be able to integrate into their systems as well. But at least everybody's still on the same page as we move forward together. So that will be all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, just a quick rejoinder because I appreciate the interest of the good congressman. Maybe under the House Committee on ICT, in the next 6 years, you can carve out a team for emerging technologies, which will just focus on this really high value, complex technologies. Siguro may isang team then because we're going to be happy to work with that team on emerging technologies.
What exactly do you need from the help? I think you would have to send us a briefer first so that we would understand what exactly your needs are.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Actually, we do have a program in place for that. We call them the Digital Transformation Centers. And these Digital Transformation Centers are actually in its birth stage. We're looking at level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Level 1 are mainly community school-based centers where they are used for e-commerce, used for online schooling. But on our vision, when we go to Digital Transformation Center 4, is that these will now be located in the more urban areas where they become laboratories, technology laboratories. We equip them with 3D printers, with IoT. Then what happens is that these Digital Transformation Centers level 4 now become laboratories where universities around them do not need to invest in laboratories on these cutting edge technologies because it's very expensive. So they use this as their laboratory. They send their professors, they send their students, they can experiment with how 3D printing works and provide them with tutorials, with knowledge experts that can guide them. So these are the transformation centers that we're envisioning that will put strategically in the regions, so this can be shared. So those are the strategies po.
Thank you, Secretary Ivan. Yes, Congressman Mario. Any other matters? Okay. There matters?
Mr. Chair, one point, Mr. Chair. What's the difference between Singapore and Philippines internet? Why can't we be like Singapore? Because, for example, me, as a local government official, as a governor, Mr. Chair, it's sabi kasi nun, oh, pasok natin PLDT sa Camiguin, pasok. Sabi, pasok natin yung Globe, pasok. Tapos sabi, may dito pa, wala naman dito. Hanggang ngayon, ganun pa rin, di ba? We're talking about trainings and all of these things, but on the other hand, we should be practical. Bago natin i-train itong mga to, ganun-ganun, pero mahina naman. Especially, ang gusto ni Congressman Mario sa mga probinsya. Ganun. I just want to voice out as a former local government official, Mr. Chair. Kasi, that's the problem really. I was in Bye-Bye Leyte last month, a reunion in our school. Even the Franciscan Sisters, there's a private school. That's their problem also. And they asked the congressman and me. I was there because I grew up in Bye-Bye. It's also their problem, really. And all of these things. So, usap nga kami ni Congressman Pimentel, ano ba talagang, bakit hindi tayo at par? Ano bang kulang doon? How can we be competitive? Like Singapore. Ano bang kulang doon? Yes, sir.
Thank you for
yes,
that.
Secretary Commissioner Cordoba.
May I respond, sir? Actually po, one of the matters po that we are facing kasi dito sa atin is that the topography of the Philippines, the setup po kasi natin, we're an archipelago. So for example po, from sa Camiguin, dadaan pa po yung submarine cable from Cagayan de Oro by underwater pa po yun.
Yeah.
In Singapore po kasi, in some other countries, it's landlocked po. Mas madali po mag-roll out, sir. Very small and mas maliit po siya. At saka po, actually, sir, ang biggest difference natin from other countries is that in the Philippines po, it's a pure, as of now, ang rollout po ng infrastructure natin is purely private sector driven, sir. In other countries, actually, sir, I have here the list of other countries po. For example, Singapore, for the past 2 years lang po, they spent $1.7 billion.
The government.
Po. So what they do, sir, is in other countries, it's the government that puts up the infrastructure, and then the telcos only lease from the government. Kaya wala po silang capex. What they have is OPEX. So actually, sir, yun pong ginagawa po ni Secretary Uy to do the national broadband ay malaking bagay po yun. Kasi sir, ano po, for every for every increase in speed and penetration, there's corresponding increase in the GDP. Lalong-lalo na po ngayon na during the pandemic, naramdaman natin that the economy moved even if the people are locked down. So ano po, I think it's worth it po na mag-invest po yung government, sir. Kasi po, I'll give another example, sir. Vietnam, for example. The 3 telcos in Vietnam are all owned by the government. Ganun po. So, yun po ang isang maganda i-consider po natin. It doesn't have to be bigla naman dahil magastos din po, but it can be it can be gradual at saka po I think dito po sa National Broadband Plan sinisimulan naman na po ang pag-rollout. So it's really government investment, sir, in the infrastructure.
Mr. Chair?
Yes. Congressman Salceda, you're recognized.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Secretary Uy, magkano budget mo this year? Next year pala.
I believe around 5 billion.
How much of that is in subscription, sir?
I think in terms of MOE po, or
I think you are a Department of Subscription.
for subscribing for internet connectivity.
Oh yes, precisely. So contrary to what Gamaliel is trying to say, I don't know, parang hirap-hirap talaga i-push ang NBM di sa Pilipinas.
Opo.
Kakayanin mo ba?
With the right budget, as Commissioner Liel has mentioned, Singapore spent $1.5 billion. That's 75 billion pesos. While the entire budget of the ICT is about 5 billion po.
Of which 50% is in subscription to Smart, to Globe.
Opo.
So you're actually not a department of the ICT or a department of subscriptions. No, just being don't get me wrong. All I'm saying is that if you just look at their budget, it's all about subscription. Pangalawa na lang, Mr. Chair. Alam niyo yung ating pong revenue growth for next year is based totally on digitalization. Kaya very clear kung ano po ang categorical imperative na this committee should help, especially BIR in customs, because if you look at the BESF underneath our total budget for 2023, much of the growth is in the growth of the economy and digitalization. So that's all, Mr. Chair, just to stress a point. Unless I was ready actually to move to adjourn, but I don't know if there are others who still want to ask questions.
So I think there's still a reaction, Congressman Salceda.
Okay.
Yes. Hold on. Before Congressman Manuel, can we ask Commissioner Cordoba? And I think Secretary Uy, you were supposed to react to Congressman Salceda? No. Okay. Commissioner Cordoba?
Sorry. Just to add lang po, I think there's meron po tayong nakitang stopgap measure dito po sa infrastructure issue natin. Starlink po, which is the company owned by Elon Musk, is starting to roll out na po dito sa atin. So instead of doing the submarine cable and the
fixed line,
yun pong mga towers, what they're going to do is they're putting up satellites on top of our country. Kaya po by the fourth quarter of 2022, they will already start commercial operations. So for example, sir, sa Camiguin, you don't have to subscribe to the fixed line. Diretso ka po sa sir, even in any area, any resort, even in the mountainous areas, kahit po sa
excuse me, Commissioner.
Yes.
Yan din sinabi ng PLDT sa amin sa Camiguin eh. Na satellite daw. Sabi ko, maraming satellite. This don't roll up, man.
Ito po kasi, sir, these are satellite po na low Earth orbit satellites. Medyo po siya being used in other countries already, pati po sa nautical. So based on experience of other countries, maganda naman po siya. Will be the first one in Southeast Asia under the leadership of Secretary Ivan Uy po. And then fully operational by first
Does
quarter.
that mean you subscribe directly to you will not pass through any local telco anymore?
Actually, sir, there's an executive order that was issued by President Duterte, former President Duterte, which gave power to the DICT to give
so you can subscribe directly to the satellite.
Yes,
you do not have
correct.
to pass through any local telco.
Wala na po, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Okay na po sila.
Yes, Secretary Uy.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Just to clarify, because in the past the satellite technologies were not this advanced po. So it's very costly, and speed as well as the latency are challenging. We are actually at the crux of a major shift in satellite technology with this low Earth orbit system. So we are looking forward to increased capacity, much lower latency, and much lower costs. So this will allow us to quickly deploy to islands like Camiguin. I would like to assure Congressman Romualdo that during my term, you will have much better connectivity in the island of Camiguin and to many other remote islands. This technology is a game changer po. And we are, in fact, we will be the first country in Asia that will be utilizing this technology. We're looking at deploying them probably by mid to late next year, 2023.
So this will be, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, wait,
please
hold
allow
on,
me.
Mr.
Yes.
Hold on, Vice Chair. Vice Chair, hold on.
Yeah.
Congressman Salceda, are you satisfied with the reaction?
We better confirm Ivan first in the CA.
No, the CA, there are two CA members here. Yes, Congressman Romualdo. Vice
Yes,
Chair Romualdo.
so that kind of technology, Mr. Secretary, it will be much more faster than a satellite phone. Because satellite phone, sometimes, I have a satellite phone, especially Typhoon Odette in Camiguin. I used that in 2001. I already had a satellite phone. And it's much more faster. No, sir? Okay. Kasi it's much more faster, this one. Because in the satellite phone, I have to sometimes look for an area. Ganun pa ako dun sa Camiguin during Typhoon Odette eh. So if that technology is very, you can set up anywhere. Thank you so much.
And it's plug and play. It's actually plug and play. So we basically do not even need to send a technician to and the satellites po can be carried in a backpack. So for disaster response, it's also very fast, so long as there's power. So we can integrate actually mobile renewable power like maybe solar. Then it can be deployed. We tested it. When you plug it in, it's up in 5 minutes. So and then you have internet connection. So this is really a game changer.
5 minutes.
End of this year?
No, 2023 po.
Next year, 2023.
Yes, they need to deploy 40,000 satellites all over the world. So far, they've deployed 3,000. So they expect to enter commercial operations end of this year. However, to cover the Philippines, it will be about middle of next year to cover the Philippines. Then we have to enter into an agreement with them for government to utilize this. So they have different levels of service. So for basic service, it's about 100 to 200 Mbps ang connectivity po. Now for enterprise or business, they can go as high as 500 Mbps. Although in some areas in the US where since kulang pa yung mga satellites nila, they have a use called best efforts subscription, which I think will be cheaper. It ranges from 5 Mbps to up to 50 Mbps. So it really depends on the saturation of the satellites that covers our islands.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Yeah, if that will be next year. I waited for the past 15 years. I was 3-term governor, 1-term mayor, then governor. Then if I can wait for that time, up to now, the more I can wait for 2023. If I have that, the province right now is under my leadership was number 3 in the most competitive province, considering I'm a 5th class province. But if you're going to bring that to Camiguin, thank you so much, then probably I'll be number 1. But I'm not dreaming for number one, only number three. You know, my son, I'm so ambugiro there. My son is only number four in the bar exams. Eh. Okay na, number three, number four. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
Congressman Manuel.
Yeah. Actually, I sympathize with our fellow legislator kasi yung nabanggit na issue hindi lang din sa kanila pero sa maraming mga bahagi ng ating bansa. And long-standing na usapin na rin yung paano natin madedemand yung mga private companies na bilisan yung internet sa ating bansa. So, pwedeng two-way yung maging paraan natin dyan, paano natin ma-ensure na gagawa nila yung kanilang trabaho kasi yung pinoprovide nila na service, part yun ng public service, ginagamit nating lahat. And at the same time, paano din yung government mismo mag-i-invest nga, no? Yung discussion kanina na nabuksan, that's very interesting and we hope na magpatuloy yon sa committee na ito at sa Kongreso. Paano mas magte-take on din ng papel yung ating gobyerno para hindi tayo nag-end up lang lagi na nahirapan tayo paano mag-exact nung better service mula dun sa mga providers natin ngayon. Kaya mainam din na I'm sure may mga bills din na naka-file on how we ensure fast and reliable internet. We hope na sometime in the future ay matalakay din yon sa ating komite. Yan lang, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Manuel, that is already scheduled. We just hope to be able to do it based on availability of rooms prior to the start of the plenary debates on the budget. Because on the 21st, we cannot schedule anymore. So we will try our best. Yun yung third meeting natin dapat. Yes, Yusek.
Chair.
Sige.
Giselle, yeah, I'm also a provinciana. I'm an Ilongga, so I understand your predicament. Just recently, we also received the encouraging partnership with the Cable TV Associations of the Philippines. They are more than 300 to 400 members from the tip of the country up to the end. So they're situated in small provinces and municipalities. So they're also willing to provide internet over fiber.
Okay.
So you subscribe with their TV and then you get internet. So, and they're also willing to partner with DICT on our trainings. Para yung mga trainings natin, kahit sa bundok, ma-reach using the fiber internet of all cable TV companies. So, maraming alternatives po.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chairman, do you have any concern?
May nagre-raise siyang hand.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Salceda.
No, Imano. Sir, I want Bambi Imano to be recognized.
Congressman Imano?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, thank you. And ngayong hapon. Mr. Chair, 2 points only. I was listening during the discussion. First is, do we have already a bill, Mr. Chair, where we will protect all those private and small internet providers for the things that they are using, Mr. Chair? Addressed, of course, to the good and coming Secretary.
Ask the Secretariat. Do we have a bill protecting the small internet providers? Yun ba, Congressman Bambi? Is that your question?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Chair. Like, we have a law already protecting the power lines. We have the law protecting already the water lines. We have a law already protecting all those who are actually connecting internet to the provinces and to the cities, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Secretary Uy, do we have a law protecting?
I don't recall seeing any law that protects those lines po. Especially if we're talking about theft of cable or theft of the infrastructure. Yeah, there are laws especially protecting energy distribution facilities, but not telecoms so far.
I brought it up. Yeah, I brought this up, Mr. Chair, because I was when I was governor, I was chair of the committee on infra with RDC, and one of the challenges that are facing actually those providers that we have, specifically Parasat, who offers fiber optics to the province of Bukidnon, have challenges in protecting their fiber optic lines, especially with the challenges of ito problema nga lang, daga lang eh. One of their lines nakagat ng daga, tapos for the whole week walang internet yung Bukidnon for yeah, hopefully you'll be able to make a law, Mr. Chair, also protecting those who are investing with the industry in the country. Hopefully we'll be able to file. And the other, Mr. Chair, I overheard the committee speaking about satellites. How will the national government earn from the satellites, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Congressman.
Can I answer that?
Okay, Congressman Salcedo, you're recognized.
Under the new law called Public Services Act, amended, SpaceX, with all their 40,000 or so, can now offer services directly to individual consumers, and they will be subject to tax, sir. So I know I will be engaging between protection and opening, but essentially now foreigners will be allowed to operate national broadband, for example, for as long as they can do the right of way. At the same time, that's why SpaceX, I don't know, Ivan, is SpaceX already registered in the country? I think they already have a rep office where BIR can deliver a VAT collection letter.
Secretary Uy?
Yes, actually they have already registered, but I think they still have to get their mayor's permit, which we will also be assisting them.
So under the new law, sir, that we passed last year, SpaceX and all the others, so tatlo na lang po ang protected industries natin, the electricity distribution, water, and sewage, and one more I forgot, I think it's ports. So all the rest are subject to foreign-owned, 100% foreign-owned competition, sir.
Yeah. So if where we will be earning, if they will be taxing, how much does the national government expect to earn, or how much can we expect to earn from the satellites, Mr. Chair?
Secretary Uy, or will how much?
Actually, we are actually deploying this as part of our free Wi-Fi project to the remote areas. So government will not be earning. In fact, it will be spending to allow connectivity under our free Wi-Fi program. But if you're looking at the revenue generation in terms of it operating the franchise or the service, they will be subject to tax once they collect and do commercial deployment. So two areas po, no? One is the satellite provider can provide the service on a commercial level where they bill commercially to private clients and they pay where taxes are imposed. On the second aspect is that government now deploys this as part of its free Wi-Fi program to the rest of the country, and that will be funded by the government.
Mr. Chair,
Congressman Imano, are you satisfied with the reply?
Yeah, for now, Mr. Chair, but we think I can go deeper. Only this time, Mr. Chair, very challenging because we have to join a couple of meetings at the same time. But thank you for accepting me as a member of the court. Only help cheaper Wi-Fi, cheaper internet, but of course for the offers of the government to earn, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Salcedo, I will just let Congressman Imano wind up. Yes, Congressman Imano.
I'm good, Mr. Chair. I yield to Kong Salceda.
Okay, thank you, Congressman Amano. Congressman Salceda, you're recognized.
They're subject to 12% VAT and 25% income tax. But unless they are able to register with the FIRB under the CREATE law. So that's the taxation with respect to SpaceX, Your Honor. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for the information, Congressman Salceda. Are there any other matters?
Hi, favorite motion.
Okay.
Love to adjourn.
Move to adjourn with joy.
Okay. Meeting is adjourned.
Second, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ivan. So, picture tayo. Picture tayo. Thank you, Auntie. Of course.